Hello and welcome to another episode of the Boleros podcast. I'm Gab. With me is Maui, and we're recording this a day after the battle for fourth between Lasalle and Adamson. We apologize if you were waiting for our episode yesterday, but we were all busy. Sam is still busy now. That's why he can't join us. We'll be doing a simple podcast for today. Just some talking points to talk about the game yesterday between Lasalle and Adamson. A crazy game between Lasalle and Adamson. And then we'll be looking forward to the Ateneo Adamson 1 versus 4 matchup in the Final Four coming this Wednesday at 6 p.m. And I think it's going to be at the Araneta Coliseum. We're not going to talk about UP versus NU. If you want to see our discussion regarding that matchup, that 2 versus 3 matchup. It's in our previous episode. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. It's a very juicy discussion between UP and NU. So let's get right to it, Mao. So if everyone did not watch the game, Adamson is back in the Final Four after I don't know how many years. When was the last time they went to the Final Four, Mao? Yung naalala mo
I
ba?
think yung last time nila they went to the Final Four, yung kalaban pa nila UP ata ng unang year ng UP na naka-Final Four. But Jerome Lastimosa was able to play naman a Final Four before this one.
So yung France Pumaren years.
Yes, I think yung France Pumaren. Baka yung dulo ni Jeric Ahanmisi pa yung time na naka-Final Four yung Adamson. So we're happy. We're happy that Adamson made it to the Final Four finally.
Yes.
I don't think any of us called Adamson to make the Final Four. Did you call them?
FU was my dark horse. FU was your dark horse. At the beginning of the season, Sam and I both picked NU. And then after the first round, I picked UE. And Sam picked Lasalle. So none of us called Adamson. So kudos to them.
None of us called Adamson. I was hoping si Aracela, Olsin Aracela would lead the FU to the Final Four, but still Aracela in the Final Four. And Nash Aracela was able to lead Adamson to the Final Four. I think I read somewhere that Aracela has been in the UAAP Final Four for 7 straight years. So that streak is not broken. Yeah, nag-alternate. Well, FEU has been in the Final Four naman almost every year, but that was both with Olsen and his brother
and
Nash.
Coach Nash.
So happy to see Adamson find their stride even after the Pumaren days. I didn't expect them to bounce back this quickly. Parang again, as we mentioned, nobody called from us three, nobody called Adamson to make the Final Four. But they did. And I think, Gab, it's a huge testament to first Jerome Lastimosa coming back from a broken toe or a dislocated toe. That was like, I remember 2 to 3 weeks ago, we mentioned or we talked about Jerome Lastimosa being out for the season. And now, he was able to lead Adamson to the Final Four with a string of great games. But I guess we also have to give credit to Coach Nash for being able to what do you call this? To being able to ride the tide despite losing Lastimosa for two games. And we called also before that it was a blessing in disguise. Jerome Lastimosa being out forced his teammates to step up and they've been big during these last few games for them.
Okay, so Mau, let's break down the game first, no? So let's go muna to the Adamson side. Let's start on a positive note before we trash Lasalle. Let's do something positive first. So let's discuss the game. So I think you gave your thoughts already on the Adamson side of the game. Again, you said it, no? A positive coming from the Jerome Lastimosa absence is that the other guys are now taking more responsibility, are now showing more confidence. And I think we saw it in this game, no? I would like to shout out as one player from That's Lendo Duwanga. Lendo Duwanga, I think, is a whole new different player. Yung para sa akin lang, Mawa. From where he was last season, and even where he was in the first round, even in the first half of the second round, no, he's a lot more confident. He's taking shots na we didn't think he had. He's very confident yung mga one-handed.
Even from the top of the key.
Yes. And he's very confident taking that, even 3-point shots. We pointed it out in their game against Ateneo. Since Leno Duwanga is now a threat from mid-range, even the outside, Ange Kwame had to step out and guard him, because he's now a threat. And that's a big one. And that's also one thing that Lasalle didn't do in the game yesterday. They didn't guard Leno Duwanga as closely as they should have. And that led to some baskets from Leno Duwanga. What were your other observations, Mau? Who do you think was a unsung hero for Adamson in the game yesterday?
Actually, to be honest, the easy call is always Jerome Lastimosa. But if you look at the supporting cast of Jerome Lastimosa yesterday, Joshua Yero stepped up, EP Manlapa stepped up, even your favorite guy, Cedric Manzano. One of your favorite guys, Cedric Manzano, step up a whole lot yesterday. I believe JM Sabandal also hit a crucial 3-pointer to take back the lead, or to take the lead.
Yes, he did.
Quarter. Yeah, and I think it's a testament to and the reason why Adamson made the Final Four. Nung first round, we were talking about Jerome Lastimosa needing help, and definitely during the second round, the supporting cast stepped up. As you mentioned, Lendo Duwanga has been consistently scoring now. Before, parang rebounding threat and defensive threat lang, and random 3-point shot na game winner. But right now, he's calling from all levels, from inside, from mid-range, and casual 3-pointers. And I think Joshua Yero and JM Sabandal have also been very consistent. But I think what took them to the next level has been really the scoring punch of AP Manlapas, which they've missed the whole season. AP Manlapas has been on a scoring tear. I think the past 3 games, double figure siya. Even the game against Ateneo, we mentioned during last week's episode, AP Manlapas was very good from all parts of the court. From 3-point, his 3-point shots and timely drives and yung highlight blocks and drives niya. And I think moving forward, even after this Final Four, AP Manlapas is a star waiting to happen for me.
Yes.
Props to this guy, and finally he's healthy.
Oh nga finally the promise is being fulfilled, no, Mau? Kasi it's all been hype surrounding AP Manlapas since kailan ba siya yung na-recruit? Last season ba yun? Or season 84 or even season...
Ever since nung Gab, ever since nung posterize niya kay Soto, AP Manlapas was really hyped. This was back in high school pa.
School.
But he's finally fulfilling the hype. I think this is his 3rd year. He's been injured for 2.5 years. AP Manlapas is finally stepping up. I guess similar to Alen Maliksi before, parang very little time nakita talaga. But hopefully, sa next year or so,
That's a pretty good comparison. Yeah,
si Alen Maliksi also experienced multiple knee problems nung college. He tore his ACL multiple times. And hopefully, AP Manlapas can find his stride and make the pros. Actually, Gab, to be honest, marami tayong batchmates. Tinatanong ako nung Ateneo game at nung Adamson game, saan ba nanggaling to si AP Manlapas? And sino ba tong si AP Manlapas? And yung una kong lagi sinasabi, bro, yan yung dati pa. Yan yung nag-post rise kay Soto na injure lang, kaya for the past 2 or 3 years hindi matulog yung pangalan. But yeah, I think Coach Nash mentioned also nung press conference niya against Ateneo and itong game na to that they've been really missing AP Manlapas as a scoring punch and second go-to guy to Jerome Lastimosa. very critical kasi. We mentioned before, very critical yung minutes na nasa bench si Jerome Lastimosa, and those were the minutes that Jerome Lastimosa were on the bench during the times that AP Manlapas went on scoring punches.
Yes.
And when Joshua Yero and Sabandal usually steps up. So, yeah, I think as we've seen nung against Ateneo, very tight game, and I'm expecting a tight game against Ateneo. Coach Tab was in the game. He was standing up and scouting throughout the game.
I saw him with the shorts and tucked in shirt and a cap to hide his bald head. Oh my God, he was so serious. He looked so serious there. Yeah. I do want to point out, Mao, that you mentioned Joshua Yero. He hit some big threes. And I also do want to point out that Adamson was behind for most of this game. Up until the end of the third quarter, where they cut the lead to 1. They were down by 10 as much as 13 points from the start of the game. Diba start of the game pa lang, down by double digits na yung Adamson.
Down double digits. Down double digits ulit. Yeah.
And that takes a lot of character, no? Especially, and kudos as well to the coaching staff and to Coach Nash. They never let go. I mean, it's easy, diba? Pang down ka by 10 points, 13 points, na parang, shit. Ang hirap na to. Ang daming ka lang habulin. That's 5 baskets you have to get back. That's a lot of defensive stops. But they kept at it. And in the first half and even the third quarter, especially the third quarter, Jerome Lastimosa scored a bunch of points, but also Joshua Yero. You mentioned Joshua Yero. I was pretty impressed. Aside from the missed free throws nung end game na I think buong Adamson community sobrang kinakabahan. Kasi yung second free throw yan, diba, yung nag-bounce pa diba? So, but he hit a lot of big threes nung third quarter when they cut the lead to 1. Shout out to Joshua Yero talaga. He stepped up big time. And Coach Nash has really figured out the rotation, no, Mau? Alam na niya yung mga guards na nilalaro niya, si Sabandal, si Yero, Jerome, Manlapas. Then on the wings, you'll have Vince Macbuhos, si Baby Boy, si Aaron Flowers. Alam na niya So, and they have confidence already. And that's a character win for me, for Adamson. It's a far cry from where they were nga, yung gaya ka nasabi mo, Mau, nung first round. Once mahabulan sila or once matambakan sila ng mga teams, nahihirapan sila because it's all Jerome Lastimosa, you're doing everything. Now they have a lot of firepower. Yeah. Now kaya nila yung humabol sa mga teams like Lasalle yesterday. Great character win for Adamson. And we did talk about it yung last time. Ako, saka na yan, pare. Saka natin yung pag-usapan yan. Yan yung next topic natin. Yung after natin i-take on yung Lasalle side. But we did mention the last episode, Mau, na Jerome shunned some offers to play overseas because he wanted to bring Adamson to the Final Four. He promised Coach Nash he would play his last year so that he would bring the Final Four. And like you said at the top of this episode, I think we're all so happy for him. He deserves every bit of the success they have. Dahil he's worked his butt off talaga. At nakita mo talaga yung emotion niya sa game na yun, no? He wanted everything. And ako, I can't be any more happier for Jerome Lastimosa. It's been a rocky... Ilang taon ba siya naglaro sa Adamson? Tatagal na rin siya. 5 years, no?
Yeah, I think 4 or 5 years kasi yun nga, before, he was able to play yung Final Four before pa. And Adamson hasn't been in the Final Four for the past few years. But yeah, Gab, just to add, so kakaiba yung binigay talaga ni Jerome Lastimosa for the Adamson community. I mean, 2 weeks ago, as I mentioned nung start, he was in a walking boot and everyone was calling that his season was over. Even he was calling his season over already, and it's I'm very happy for him that he was able to deliver his promise. Yung sacrifices he took he shunned away the offers. Definitely, I'm not gonna be surprised if teams in Asia will try to get Jerome Lastimosa after the season.
He's getting the bag. He's getting the bag, Mau.
Yeah, he's
I
getting the
don't
bag,
I don't
definitely.
think there's any doubt na other teams from Korea, Japan, or wherever, Taiwan, wherever else, they're gonna give him a big juicy contract because he's just so good. Ang galing talaga niya. So now let's go to our favorite segment. Wow, let's go to the Lasalle side. What were your observations from our
Uh,
favorite school in green?
as always, Lasalle performs well then struggles and lets down its fans. So I think ito talaga yung story ng season nila. It's been very up and down. And you can see nung game, double digit lead, and then tie, double digit lead, and then finally losing the game during those crucial stretch. And I'm sorry for all the Lasalle fans. Yeah, I cannot believe what they've gone through this season. It's been such a roller coaster ride. It was supposed to be a promising campaign for them. They were champions nung off season, and they showed that they were a team to be reckoned with nung end nung last year when they were supposed to beat UP, but Carl Tamayo happened. Evanelli played his heart out, but struggled nung dulo talaga. And it sucks that he's taking such a huge blow nung end game. I think a lot of analysts and personalities at Twitter were calling him out, and it sucks. He was supposed to have
It
that
sucks.
game, that the game of his life. He was on fire in the first half. He was doing things on both ends of the floor. He was controlling the game, and he had some key steals and blocks nung first half, which is why Lasalle led nung double figures as you mentioned nung first half. And I think
Even no end game, nung yung steal niya kay
yeah,
Jerome to cut the lead to one.
to cut the lead to one, yung trap nila with kay Jerome Lastimosa nung end ni Mark Nonoy. And it sucks. One shot, everyone remembers one shot, that bad shot nung end game.
Yeah.
And I think really the story of Lasalle this season, yung injuries and illnesses that they've gone through. Kevin Cambao was confirmed for COVID, which is why he wasn't able to play. Mike Phillips has a mysterious. I think they've tried many tests for concussion and MRIs, and I think they haven't been able to figure out what kind of head injury he
Doon ako
has.
mas kinakabahan, Mau.
Actually, kinakabahan
Honestly,
ako
doon ako mas
baka maging
kinakabahan.
serious illness or anything. But I hope Mike Phillips gets better. He's a beast, and we really miss yung hard-nosed basketball and hustle ni Mike Phillips. And si Shani Winston was labeled was scapegoated by Lasalle, and I don't know
Okay,
if
sige. Let's go to that. Let's go to that.
maybe
Let's
we
go to
can
that.
go to that
So,
if we
Mau,
discuss yung game. Yeah.
so
Yeah, go ahead,
Mau,
Gab.
maybe you want to enlighten whoever's watching what the issue is with Sonny Winston, yung what was being reported.
Yeah. Actually, Shani Winston was leading yung MVP race by a huge margin nung first round, and then he injured his calf. And initial reports was it was a strained calf, and he was gonna return. We were actually hoping him to return for yung even before this game, as Lasalle was fielding him just to get the games played nung I think 2 games nung end nung second round. But Coach Derek was very mad nung end ng game, and Lasalle he even said that Shawnee Winston and his dad was banned to sit with Lasalle and even go with them to the Coliseum sa bus. And
Crazy.
right now I don't know what's the truth. Shawnee Winston says that he actually has a torn calf, which is why he cannot play. One of the analysts that covers UAAP mentioned that there's a medical report that indicated that Shawnee Winston was cleared for basketball activities but not to play. And it was confirmed through that medical report that Shawnee Winston was also had a torn calf. So again, I don't know. It's a very big drama, and it's sad to see Lasalle scapegoating Shawnee Winston, given the fact that he was carrying the load nung first round. How about you, Gab? What do you think?
I think I messaged this in our chat group, Maui. I tend to side with what Shawnee Winston and his dad had to say because, and hear me out, baka may magalit ng lasista, baka may si Apo yung mag-comment sa chat sa video natin, magsabi, ba itong ginagawa ng Boleros friends ko? Anyway, history is not with Lasalle because they have done this before. Diba?
Yes, they have, definitely.
They did this with Mike Cortez. If I think yung mga ka-age natin, even the older generation know this. When Lasalle lost the 2002 championship, they also threw Mike Cortez under the bus. That is why Mike Cortez left Lasalle, diba? So, and they've also done this other times. Not just with Mike Cortez. To a ton of players. So, history is not with the Lasalle management side or even their athletics department, whoever's doing it. It's not on the Lasalle side. So, to me, I tend to believe Shawnee Winston. And I do believe that I've seen the guy play and he plays hard. And then from what I've heard from interviews, articles, that Lasalle team they're very close. You know, he has friends there. He's friends with the Phillips brothers. He's friends with with yung with Evanelli. They're good friends. Yeah. I don't think he's gonna leave them out to dry, pare. If he was healthy, I think he would be out there. Diba? I think my brotherhood naman talaga sila eh. And I'm sorry, this looks bad sa Lasalle, pare. Honestly, not even to be with the team, to not even let him sit on the bench. That looks bad. I don't know eh. Diba? I don't think Shawnee is that person diba? I don't think Shawnee is that kind of person eh. Na he's healthy but okay, I'm not gonna play with my teammates, my friends. I don't think I really don't think that that's the issue. I just think it's the Lasalle management, their coaches or whoever is leading that program is yung naging bitter sila. They're losing and they needed Shawnee and he's not coming back. So they threw him under the bus. Or they didn't let him in the bus. to be quite literal.
I think they really had to have a reason kasi, di ba talagang scapegoated siya. They had to give a reason. But they were struggling even when he was there. So parang, to me, it's disgusting.
Oh, and
if it's true that Shawnee
this is my next
calf.
And this is my next point, Mao. This is my next point. While there are a ton of excuses that can be made for Lasalle, the injuries, you know, their three main guys, or some of their main guys, rotation guys were out. But they have a lot of talent. That is my yung with Lasalle. And they were in this game. We said it already. They were up by double digits for multiple points in this game. They had a chance at so many points in this game to put Adamson away, but they didn't. They have so much talent. Raven Cortez played the hell of a game. Ben Phillips played the hell of a game. They have so much talent. And while yes, injuries, kahit si Mark Nonoy played a really good game.
Especially in the first half.
And I tend to look at it as lack of composure and lack of execution talaga. Because in terms of talent, they have it. Player profile, they have it talaga. I think you have to put if there's anyone to put the blame on, I think it has to be Coach Derek Pumarin. Ikaw ba, Mau? Di ba? We said it, di ba? Nung kumatalo sila sa UST, and they almost did.
Yeah. Derek Pumarin most probably the axe.
Derek Pumarin, get out of here. Or call for his head. I don't know. But grabe.
Diba, initially naman, they shouldn't have been, di naman dapat sila in this position in the first place. Diba? Everyone's calling them a title contender. Even Evan Nelly was calling them a title contender. Yung podcast nung summer, both Evan Nelly and Sean Wilson called Lasalle #1 team. Evan Nelly said they were the team to beat. And I think even before all these injuries nung first half ng season, ng first round, they were showing signs that they were not executing properly and they were not closing out wins. Unfortunately, for Lasalle fans, it is this season, I think, ranks as one of the top seasons to be heartbroken. So much hope, so much promise, but they failed to deliver. And I think they didn't have to scapegoat Shawnee Winston. They could have easily said that they faced so many injuries, so many illnesses tong season, which was true. Evan Nelly was out for a few games because of illnesses and suspensions. Mike Phillips has been out a few games. Shawnee Winston, the whole second round, net of those games na nilaro lang siya just for the sake of playing. And Kevin Cabiaos missed a lot of games. I don't think that they had to scapegoat Shawnee Winston. And what makes matters worse for me is it is Shawnee Winston's last year. So parang siguro dahil pa-exit na rin si Shawnee Winston, they just made him the scapegoat for the season. I want to see Lasalle succeed. Siyempre, mas masaya, especially for us diehard fans. Ateneo Lasalle games, nung first round game, even if we lost, it was a nail biter and we enjoyed them. But to me, this is another case of, to me, it's disgusting what Lasalle did. If it's true that Shawnee Winston is really out with the torn calf, it's bad. It's bad. What happened?
Yeah. And siguro my last point, you mentioned yung Evan Nelly. And it's easy to hate on Evan Nelly because in the clutch moments in this game, he made a ton of mistakes. 3 turnovers in the last 2 minutes. Those were his. He made a bad pass to Mark Nonoy. He slipped and turned the ball over. That horrible shot choice in the corner. He turned around. Patay ang butike. Wala. It's easy to hate on him. But I do want to point out and I do want to send a message to all our Lasalle friends and the Lasalle fans. You wouldn't be in this game if it weren't for Evan Nelly.
Yeah, definitely.
I wanted to point that out. It's easy to hate on him, but if you watch the entire game, Evan Nelly carried them in this game. He was the offense for Lasalle. So it's easy to hate on him, but we gotta give props where props happen. We have to give credit where credit is due.
Gab.
Evan Nelly.
Just to add, hindi lang yun, Gab. Pati yung previous games nila, Evan Nelly stepped up nung game against UST. Diba?
Yes. So, yeah, you wouldn't be fighting for a Final Four slot if Evan Nelly was not on your team. So, yeah, make fun of him, criticize his shot choice and his lack of execution in the end game, but also give him his flowers and give the credit to Evan Nelly. He played the hell of a game. Just so happens he made bad choices he made bad mistakes at the wrong time. Okay? So I think we can close that section. Okay, right? Let's stop the Lasalle hate for now. Let's give Lasalle a break. We've been hating on them for almost a month already. So now let's go to our alma mater, Mau. Let's go to the 1-4 matchup on Wednesday. Ateneo versus Adamson. My first question to you is, what is one key matchup that you would want that you want to watch for in this game on Wednesday?
I think very critical talaga for me. When you talk about Ateneo, it's very critical that Dave Ildefonso gets going. So that's number one. And for Adamson naman, as you've seen the past few games, the past 3 games or 4 games of Adamson, AP Manlapas has been an X factor. So I think very critical for both David Alfonso and AP Manlapas to get going, because Kwame will definitely do his part in offense and defense. Jerome Lastimosa will definitely score a ton. If he doesn't score a ton, he will facilitate, and the other guys will step up. But I'm very excited to see if Kai Balungay can carry also the momentum. He had a big game against Adamson nung last game, and I'm hoping that Kai Balungay continues to play exceptional. I think Adamson playing Kwame very good, has opened doors with Kai Balungay, both offensively and defensively. He has stepped up tremendously. But definitely, if you talk about matchups in point guard matchup pa rin, it's gonna be Padligao and Lastimosa. And definitely Sabandal and Diero and Gab Gomez and Kuhn. It's gonna be a very good matchup, and I hope it's a close game. I mentioned kanina, Gab, actually, to be honest, very scared ako with the momentum of Adamson. They showed against Ateneo that they can fight Ateneo close. It was a very close game, yung last game. And I think Adamson's momentum will be even bigger once they secured yung fourth seed. So yeah, hopefully, as an Ateneo fan, I want it over, but as a basketball fan, 2 games of Ateneo and Adamson will be a treat.
Okay. It's good that you mentioned the point guard matchup, because ako naman, I go to the second most important position in basketball, which is the center position.
Yeah.
That's the matchup I'm gonna watch for. Because in our last game versus Adamson, parang nag-turn yung game nung na-injure si Duanga. Diba? He sprained his ankle. He came out. Yeah. And saka lumayo yung Ateneo. Because from what we observed, medyo hirap si Ange kay Duanga. He's got size. I think he's stronger than Ange.
Yeah.
Diba? We saw it. Parang hirap si Ange makakuha ng usual position niya to box out, to get offensive rebounds, second chance points. He has a hard time with Duanga. And we also said, just earlier in this episode, Ange has to stretch out. He cannot leave Lenda Duanga outside, because Lenda Duanga can shoot now. And that's a big matchup for me. If Ange cannot get his usual 10 plus rebounds in the game, it's gonna be a big problem, especially if Lenda Duanga can get going on offense. Same time, kinakabahan ako sa Adamson. And another point, Mao, that I want to, that's going in Adamson's way, is their crowd. Did you see their crowd nung game kahapon?
Oh, grabe. Even sila, coach.
Grabe.
Coach Nash was calling them out nung end ng game, na grabe yung crowd nila. Kahit sa TV, you barely see Adamson that electrified.
Yes. And I expect that on Wednesday, the Adamson fans, the Adamson faithful are gonna come, and they're gonna cheer their asses off for this team, because as you said, they love this team. They love Jerome. Jerome is dear to them, and he's an easy player to get behind because he's very humble, he's very good. Hindi siya mayabang, wala eh. Talagang he's a really exciting player to
baller talaga pa.
And yes. And what is my next question to you, Mau, and also to me also, what is one adjustment you think you'd want to see from both sides, from Adamson and Ateneo, you're coming into the game on Wednesday?
I think number one player that Adamson has to prepare for is Kai Balungay. I think he had 19 points and like 15 rebounds during the game. He was getting offensive. He had a big offensive rebound and put back over Lenda Duanga I think nung fourth quarter, or some of the other Adamson players. I think they have to prepare for Kai Balungay. They've done a tremendous, as you mentioned, Gab, Lenda Duanga has done a tremendous job limiting Ange Kwame, especially sa offensive side. With regards to Ateneo, I think they have to prepare for the supporting cast. Jerome Lastimosa will always show out. He will get his buckets, but as as we've seen nung Adamson game against Lasalle, even AP Manlapas, Joshua Yeros, Cedric Manzano, and Sabandal stepped up nung game. And Ateneo has to prepare for them. It's not the Jerome Lastimosa show anymore. Just the Jerome Lastimosa show anymore. It's a big testament to the coaching staff and a reason why they really made the Final Four. And I think Ateneo will be ready. But actually, to be honest, I'm kind of nervous dun sa second unit. Ateneo tends to struggle in second
that
unit.
was my point.
And we don't know if they'll be able to match up with Adamson's second unit. AP Manlapas has been very consistent for the past 4 games. Joshua Yero and James Abandal has also been very consistent. And Chris Kuhn really has to step up, I think, this game. And especially si Dave Idelfonso. I think the previous game he had single-digit points. He definitely has to be more
3
aggressive.
points.
Yeah, 3 points. But he had 8 assists. But I think during this game, he has to be more aggressive, score the buckets.
Yes, definitely.
And make his playmaking secondary. But yeah, I don't know. How about you, Gab? What do you think?
Ako, from Ateneo side, I do wanna. I'm interested to see if Tab will go with the shortened rotation that we only saw once. Actually against UP and against Lasalle. He went with the very short rotation lang talaga. He would put in some bench guys, but he would always make sure that he had mga 2 or 3 starters with the bench guys always. And we never saw that again from against other teams. So I'm interested to see that. Again, we pointed it out, Mau. The bench has been a problem the whole season. Perhaps the only time na talagang nag-step up yung bench was against UP. Recently, di ba, we all talked about that. Chris Kuhn, Gab Gomez stepped up big time. But for most of the season, the bench has been pretty underwhelming. And that's the adjustment I'm looking for. I'm looking forward to see from Coach Tab. Whether, he shortens the rotation, plays 8-9 guys only. Yun lang. From Adamson side, I'm interested if they're gonna go as much zone as they did nung last matchup. The run they made no fourth quarter,
gumana.
when they cut the lead to 1, gumana yung zone. As in, Ateneo couldn't score. They couldn't get inside. Ange Kwame, despite Leda Duwanga not being in the game, could not score in the paint. He scored just once on a putback, fortunately, to seal the game. Pero otherwise, hirap yung Ateneo sa zone na ginagawa ng Adamson. So, I'm interested if they're gonna go more to that and less man-to-man. Also, from the Ateneo side now, we also, in the last game against Adamson, Coach Tab didn't do the switching defenses as much. Then when
yung minention
diba?
defense.
Nung against UP, diba? Alos every possession, pang may dead ball, switch tayo. Yung switch defense. We didn't see it as much nung last game against Adamson, but I think Coach Tab will pull out all the stops talaga. Because I think from what he saw in the game yesterday, this Adamson team is no joke. They're strong. They are on fire.
Biglang malalim, Gab. Yun yung big thing talaga eh. I think yun talaga yung main reason why they entered the Final Four and why they surprised us. And blessing in disguise talaga yung injury ni Jerome Lastimosa. I think everyone stepped up.
Yes. And with that, we end our Monday episode of the Boleros podcast. We will probably have another episode on Wednesday. We'll see, depending on the results of the 2 Final Four games. We are excited to see what happens. These are pretty good games. They're pretty good matchups. UP versus NU, we talked about it before. so much storylines. Ateneo Adamson, we just talked about it. So many things can happen. And as usual, if you want to see more content from the Boleros, you can like, subscribe, turn on your notifications so that you'll be notified when we put up a new video. Again, this has been Gab, Maui, and on behalf of our friend Sam, who's somewhere in a beach, on a beach. Thank you for watching the Boleros podcast, and
like, subscribe, comment.
Enjoy the Final Four. Yes,
enjoy the
bye-bye.
Final Four. Yeah, definitely. Bye-bye.